you hear it?
Mind me.
Can't you hear it?
Mind me. Mind me.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Blockchain Dynamics. I am Jukely.
And I am Brandon Doge. I'm happy to be here. Really excited to be on our 5th episode of the Blockchain Dynamics podcast. I'm back at our home studio and definitely enjoying it.
Yep, we got one new microphone, so now hopefully we'll have some better sound because we won't hear all of the background noises. Originally we were using a microphone that's good at picking up like everything in the room, so of course it was doing a good job of that. And now we're going to find out if maybe these more directional mics will pick up our voices, but not all of the different things, the air. So it's exciting.
Yep, yeah, awesome. It's some nice new equipment. So always trying to bring you a bigger, better podcast here.
I think we're going to start off with just talking about some of the new posts on Bitcoin Talk this week.
Yep, nothing funner than those new Bitcoin Talk posts. Always impossible to sort through. So that's, you guys have us to do the hard work for you.
The first one that we noticed was the Bitcoin full fork post. And this one, I think, reminded us both of Cbit in the sense that it expanded the block size.
Yep, it's just like they're going after this angle of having to do with Bitcoin Classic and the block size issue. On this one, their idea is to fork it from Bitcoin so they're just going to fork on a specific block, and that's coming in a couple of weeks. It's a cool idea, sort of, if you want to prove that the block size thing is going to work, but I don't really see what you get beyond that in terms of it's not going to be like obviously the value is not going to be nothing close to Bitcoin.
Right. Anybody thinking that they'll be able to sell the forked Bitcoins for the same price as a Bitcoin is probably fooling themselves.
And they also said that they were going to change the algorithm to be something that would support CPU mining just generically. So like that kind of makes you wonder. When
that
people
would be sweet, though.
Yeah, that would be sweet, but are they going to do it?
I don't know. They have a test net going right now that I haven't taken time to participate in, but it might be. I've been pretty busy myself, but it seems to be people are doing it a little bit.
I feel like new algorithm maybe is not as exciting as it once was because people have kind of realized all the ways that it can get manipulated.
Oh, for sure.
But it's also an actual new algorithm can be really cool and exciting too, because you don't actually see new algorithms. Usually, you just see people using like an obscure one.
Right. When it comes to like distribution of resources, there's obviously people with a ton of CPUs, just like there's a ton of people with GPUs, a ton of people with money, and a ton of people with whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything.
Yep.
The next one that we saw was ZonePay.
ZonePay.
And this one is kind of interesting. Seemed a little bit rushed or something to me, but it's got an ICO, and they hope to raise 25 Bitcoins.
This one looks to me like it should have been on Yobit. Like, just everything about it, kind of sloppy graphics, sloppy premise. It's that Yobit IPO range, they're all kind of between 10 and 50 Bitcoins, it seems like. Or 10 to 100, maybe. I don't know.
It has a POW as well.
Do you know the ratio of the POW to the proof of work? Oh, it's got these master nodes too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're kind of checking off the futures, I think.
Yeah, that's how it felt. It's like they got a little bit of everything, and at this point, I think they're just still talking about how to do the ICO.
Yeah.
So it's not too advanced yet.
The thing that kind of turned me off on this one was this list of bounties they have. Let's see if I can find it. They're pretty. They're not reassuring. It's like bounty, setting up nodes. That's kind of like one of those things. If you have bounties for these really basic things that have to do with setting up the project, maybe you're not really in a good position to lead a project.
Yeah, I've always sort of felt that way as well.
Like if you can't even get your own node set up, that's not encouraging for me. I don't know. So ZonePay.
It's a very community type angle, and I think that that probably will be that way, especially since they're communally discussing the ICO options.
Yeah, but they're not going to communally distribute the ICO, so that's where it kind of that's where they lose me, I guess, on that angle.
Yeah, I hear you. There was a re-announcement for BIOS.
Coin. This one came out, I want to say late last year. Let me check the post.
And it also kind of garnered itself a little pump, either during, before, or after that post, it seemed like.
After the relaunch, definitely went up. I actually mined BIOS at launch. Back then I was like mining every single coin. I still have a lot of them just sitting on Yobit. And I recall I didn't mine very much. I sold a little bit early, very low, much like 30 Satoshi. And then now one day I like wake up and see that Yobit thing like, pa-ching! Oh, you sold something. I get up and it's like, oh, what the heck, BIOS is selling? And then I saw that this re-announcement had been made too. So there's something to this re-announcement. It's hard to say what just yet. It's obvious that, again, there's somebody's interested in trying to see this coin go somewhere.
Right.
So I think I'm happy to have managed to.
Yeah, that's great.
I sold the rest of what I had just because usually if I have a coin for that long and I sell it, I don't really ask questions. But it could be one to. I think it could be something that has a future.
Mm-hmm. Well, if at least there's something going on. I don't feel like I would necessarily be getting interested in something like that right now, but when it's a little bit older, then I probably would. That's the funny thing, because now that I've been watching those coins like Flutter and Myriad and Einsteinium going up, I kind of noticed that those are older coins, and because they've made it to a certain point and they're on multiple exchanges, and so there's a little bit of liquidity all the time, and then once there is somebody that's interested in buying some, it like actually moves the market a little bit. All that stuff kind of adds up over time, and most people don't want to sell for a loss.
Yeah, one of the things that's kind of interesting on that angle is with BIOS, it's from a different generation, kind of. The coins you're talking about, Myriad, Flutter, they were those like 2014, era of the pump coins, and they're still on. They're kind of grandfathered into the exchanges like Bittrex and Poloniex, and so it's like it's interesting to me because they have an advantage in that way in terms of. Last year, kind of in the summer, is when the exchanges really slowed down on new ads. And so it seems to me like these old coins that are already grandfathered into Bittrex and Poloniex have a real leg up in that way. And so one of the things I like about this BIOS re-announcement is it's kind of showing us that some of these later generation coins that aren't on the big exchanges can still work. Right. So I'd be interested to see BIOS get on C-cex. I'm kind of interested lately in how coins are doing that are outside of that Bittrex, Poloniex ecosystem.
Yeah, that's interesting. This next one was a straight-up clone of Ether. They're calling it Uther.
Uther. People gave him some shit for the name. I kind of like that name.
That's not bad.
But don't like the pre-mine. Not so fast. Was quick to point out that we're talking 45 years for the miners to catch up to the pre-mine on this.
Oh, nice. So, we'll all be elderly by then.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a coin for us to all be pretty much old men for. So, I'm not excited about Uther, I guess I'll say that. I'll be surprised if it comes out. It's always a good sign, I guess, if developers can actually put out an Ethereum clone.
Right, that's true.
But, the pre-mine's just too much. Would be good for somebody who knows how to mine it to try and get in on the Instamine, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not thrilled. There's already other Ether clones out there, isn't there?
Yeah, plenty. Expanse is the big one, obviously. That's been doing really well.
I don't see the appeal for this one from my perspective.
I'm with you.
There's a New Money.
New money.
I felt like this one was like a salesman trying to pitch to me.
It totally. That's the perfect way to describe it. It's like this guy's name, Solomon Solars and Cents. That is like
selling them solars and cents.
It's tough. I think it's something that he wanted to be really smooth and sound cool, but I don't like. It doesn't roll off the tongue well for me. None of this guy's graphics are speaking to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of felt pretty much the same way. Some other notes about it though. I noticed there was they're aimed to get into, the mainstream, right?
Yeah, so of course. Who doesn't?
So finally, everybody will know and be using cryptocurrencies, and their specific point of entrance is going to be Las Vegas, according to this particular one.
That's
Hollywood. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna just break into Hollywood.
That was just my brain saying the wrong thing.
No, Las Vegas is where those MUE shops were, which is cool. But I think
Las Vegas makes more sense to me because people go from all over the country to spend money there.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That has more credibility to me than Hollywood. Like, I don't see this post just has no credibility for me, I guess.
And what was it, like a 300 bitcoins they need?
Yep, a 300 plus Bitcoin IPO. The IPO, the value like goes up and down randomly.
Oh, really? I didn't notice
Yeah,
that
so
part.
like the first, yeah, it's a really stupid schedule. It's like the first X number of coins is cheap, and then so the first 500,000 and more like the first million are really cheap, and then they start to get more expensive, and then there's like a million really expensive coins, but then once you get past that, it gets cheap again. So it's almost like a pyramid scheme built into an IPO, built into something else. I don't know.
New money.
Not impressed.
EDR coin, energy efficient.
This is one of those coins you just can't really understand.
It must be outside of our culture. Like, we can't quite decipher what they're trying to say.
Yeah, what's the angle? Is this... it appears to be just another blockchain, I guess. That's kind of the way I would look at it.
Yeah.
Do you know, are there people actually saying they've gotten the wallet working, or is it just another?
One of the things that always kind of stands out to me that I see here right away is, you know, when you're claiming that your coin is going to be worth a certain amount of money, you're pretty fucked.
Yeah, I agree.
That's impossible.
Anytime people try to create or make a peg, it doesn't work out. Have we ever seen a peg coin work out? Obviously, the most famous one was that pay coin.
I would say that we haven't even seen a currency in history that is pegged to a certain value.
Yeah, it's not a value. It's not a system that works in real life. It's not a system that works in the blockchain realm either. So.
Well, didn't we look? How did that USD tether thing work? Did you remember when you looked that up? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's that's it. That does seem to be working. But it's not. I wouldn't even really say it's a coin necessarily. I think it is tied to a blockchain. But the idea is that you would send money to this essentially. It's very centralized, and so there's an outfit out there that is essentially guaranteeing that the USDT is worth whatever the price of a dollar is, and then you can buy them. And you get a blockchain token that is redeemable at that amount from the USDT company, and that's the way that the big exchanges have gotten around trading Bitcoin essentially for USD without the regulations, because they're trading it against this blockchain token, and then the regulatory burden is on the people who are buying from the USDT.
Sure, yeah.
Doing that exchange. It's out there. It seems like people are using it, but it's hard to say how legit it is. How easy is it? I have no idea what's involved in actually buying USDT.
Me neither.
From the people who created it.
Yeah, I wonder if people do that often, or if most of it's just traded through the exchanges.
Yeah, and I wonder if is it like seeded into the exchanges? Is the USDT company selling it on altcoin exchanges, kind of in a way?
Right.
Like, it's hard. That's really hard for me to say. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to how that works, but it does seem to be. It's created some new, pretty high volume markets on the major altcoin exchanges. So that's something.
Right.
There's something there.
Yeah, and it kind of just came to mind because of that's one that at least to this point has been able to peg itself directly to that dollar.
I mean, that seems like a real company. They appear to
Right.
that they've made deals essentially with these exchanges and stuff. So they appear to be legitimate. So that's a good point. That is essentially an example of a blockchain pegged to a real thing and working. It's funny that we see it so little from anybody else. Like, some of these blockchains are pegged to things that are like really cheap. So I would think that we would see some more of those like micro blockchains where maybe it's pegged to an asset that's not worth very much. Maybe the whole chain is worth $1,000 or $2,000.
Oh yeah, we've talked about funny stuff like that, like buying I'm just gonna say a stick of gum right now. Back with that, but there's been a box of nitrous oxide, something like that.
Something weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Why not back it with something that you actually can prove you have, rather than something like with Ambercoin where it was so.
Yeah, Eurocoin.
Yeah,
that
stuff
was a funny
like that.
One. Yep.
Antcoin was the next one I noticed.
And yeah, really, speaking of just like undecipherable posts, I think Antcoin probably takes the cake this week.
Oh yeah, man, this is like another language to me, except it's written in words that I know.
Yeah, that's a funny way. It's as though it were written by a bot, even though obviously a human put this together. Which isn't to, I don't mean to
No.
disparage people who don't have good native English.
I don't think it feels that way, no.
but I just can't quite make sense of what's going on here.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell.
It does seem like it has an actual wallet and stuff. What is the Andrew wallet? Somebody says. That's funny.
Yeah, well, that was just maybe a mistype, but I'm very uncertain of this type of stuff, and I think that that's probably always the language barrier, right? Like, when people are trying to get these Chinese translations made of their own threads,
Yeah.
how do you really know what that is expressing towards people?
Yeah, I always think it's funny when people ask for bounties for translations, because there's no way. Obviously, they don't speak the language. They have no way of verifying if these translations are any good. And if I had to guess, I would say most of them probably aren't.
That would be my guess as well.
So Antcoin, if there is somebody who knows anything about Antcoin and could explain it to us, I would be interested in hearing about it. But I'll probably won't be taking a second look at it otherwise.
The next one's called Blockchain Ventures, and it was like already funded. They wanted to make that very clear that they don't need anybody's money.
So that was kind of the vanilla coin. I don't know. I wouldn't say he pioneered this, but the vanilla coin developer definitely came out with that whole angel investor funded thing early. And of course, he was the angel investor, right? Isn't that?
He eventually did say he was, but I mean, I
Which,
never
that's
know what. I mean, at what point is it not show, right?
Yeah, exactly. When's it? Why?
Who isn't an angel investor in vanilla coin now? What is it even supposed to mean at that? Like, people are just buying this currency. But I understood. I was a little bit at that point surprised that was what he was going to say, because
that he announced that he was the angel investor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I always sort of felt like
we joked about it.
Yeah,
we joked about the angel investor because it's one of those things people say.
I mean, it can be anything. It
Yeah.
could be your parents. It could be your grandma. I don't
Exactly.
doesn't fucking matter.
Anyone in crypto is an angel investor, I guess you could. Anyone who buys the coin could be considered an angel investor in a way.
But these guys on Blockchain Ventures haven't actually described their project much at all yet. They're kind of waiting, and so when we learn more, maybe we'll tell you. But there's nothing yet.
Yeah, but this one really feels like an IPO scam to me. It's one of those things. It's already funded, but there's going to be an IPO. That's a huge red flag for me.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't need your money, but we'll take it.
Yeah, we don't need your money, but how about you give us some money? We just need a little bit. No, not interested.
The next one I actually thought was pretty cool. This one was STEEM, STEEM.
Yeah, this looks really cool. The developer got a really hard time right after the launch, but to be honest with you...
Yeah, it went through one relaunch so far, and he is getting some flack, and it might be rightfully so for all I know, but as far as what I've done, I haven't actually got it mining yet, but I got it compiled, and I'll get it mining soon. I just have been pretty busy, like I said, so...
You're always going to have people who are upset over relaunches, insta-mines, all that stuff. And all that stuff is something to be aware of. But if it is a new algorithm, right?
Well, what it is a new consensus method.
What is, can you...
I can't say that I fully understand it, because I definitely haven't read the code.
Yeah.
They tried to describe it in the thread a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main differences that I could understand is that part of the hash is the private key of the wallet, and so you have to submit that as part of the command to start mining, and then that makes it so that it's very pool resistant, is his idea, I suppose.
Okay.
I'm sure people would find a way around it when they thought a little bit or something, but at this point, that's kind of one of the main differences I noticed. I haven't started generating blocks yet, so I don't quite understand it. There was something about a queue that's a certain length long, and so when you solve a hash, you enter the queue, and then the person at the top of the queue is receiving tokens based on something that I'm not going to be able to explain.
Well, it doesn't really... I think I've heard enough in the sense that I really like essentially everything that you've told me here, because it's like... That's kind of getting to the point where it's different enough, but still functional to actually create an interesting new blockchain property. And so I really think that... I think this one's definitely worth looking into. I'm probably going to try and get set up to mine it. I haven't started mining it yet, but... I think they've kind of made something new and different enough that it's worth looking into. And if you're one of the people who actually get set up on it and just run a
Well, I'm already jealous of the people that got it before me, obviously, man.
yeah, exactly. So it's
I want some of that.
I would say the most promising launch of the week would have to be Steam for me.
It's pretty interesting. The next one though is also promising in like the sort of quick dump sense.
Make a quick buck. Yeah, I like this coin. Billcoin is the next coin here we're talking about. Launched on March 23rd. And yeah, it's got that classic descending reward schedule, really front-loaded mining. But it's not. I don't think it's too bad. It's not. It's not like. It's not a super fast mining. It's a million blocks total of mining. So obviously it's really front-loaded. Almost all the coins are going to be mined in the first 100,000, 150,000 blocks. But 150,000 blocks is quite a lot, honestly, for just a proof-of-work coin. So as far as that goes, I think, if anything, it would be a coin to look at for maybe a week down the road, a few days down the road, to try and catch at the low difficulty.
Yeah, or even sort of how Pepe was traded.
This reminds me a lot of Pepe in terms of the thread energy, especially. The mining schedule is a lot like Pepe. So yeah, this would be, and it's a conventional mining. It's not like something that's difficult to get set up. So
yeah,
I would say this would be, if there's 2 coins to watch this week.
This would have been a fun one to just be like in the right spot to mine the fuck out.
Totally, yeah, definitely. That's what I was imagining. Those XCT Instaminers must have made a ton.
Yeah, that would have been a fast one because I went up pretty good for a minute there.
And it had a huge number of blocks on the Instamine. I kind of think that initial surge on that market was based on them trying to build up and capitalize that Instamine.
Yeah. There was another one that was like Duicoin, which from our culture means driving under the influence.
Yeah, Dewey in our culture is like, oh shit, you're gonna pay a huge fine. You just fucked up. So it's funny to see a coin called Duicoin. I wonder what this means to the person that made it.
Yeah.
Is it on C-cex or is that just a joke? There's a C-cex link in the post. Let's check it out.
Oh, that's just a link to... Oh, weird.
That's them imagining themselves being listed on C-cex.
Well,
I love it when coins come out like with Bittrex and C-cex links, even though they're not even close to being listed on those exchanges.
Yeah, that's funny. It definitely doesn't exist on C-cex.
That's funny.
And then there was Blackjack. This one had this is one that like Brandon would have loved to mine if he was in the right spot with those big ass high pos blocks.
Oh, this is an instant high pos?
Or well, I guess it's not high pos. It's just incredibly high percentages. I'm sorry.
Let's see, 41,000 blocks of 21,000 per year, and let's see what's the mining look like. 2,500 block mining. Wow.
It switches back and forth too. Do you see that part?
Yeah, then it goes back to mining after 75,000 blocks. So it's like 75,000 blocks of aggressive proof of stake, it looks like.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
What block is it on?
I actually don't know. I have an Explorer, though. Let's check it out.
It's a pool.mn. Whew. This would have been a good one to mine. This one...
block 967.
Real low difficulty.
So they haven't hit that crazy proof of stake point, that's for sure.
It starts at block 100.
Close, real close then.
So they're definitely, I mean, there's people staking now, I'm sure.
Oh, I meant the, oh, maybe I misread. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about this no proof of work phase.
Oh, yeah, we're a long ways from that.
Yeah.
Well, not a long ways, I guess. 1,400 blocks, what's that? One day?
It's an interesting coin, for sure.
Yeah, it seems,
Just the stats wise. I mean, I don't think it was planned to be economically like long term feasible. But
yeah, definitely.
Pretty interesting mining one.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a Yobit special. Probably pretty good for the early miners.
And then we had a takeover of Peoplecoin.
Peoplecoin takeover.
I sort of remember this coin.
Peoplecoin.
I just remember its launch most than anything, but I don't really know anything about it. It seems like their to-do list is to take over the coin.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's the funniest thing about this one. On their list of takeover coins is, oh, we're gonna actually take over the coin. Guess we have to follow through with that.
Hopefully they get around to it.
It doesn't look good for PeopleCoin. Looks like they've had a maybe did it just get listed? I'm trying to understand this Yobit market. I don't know if it just got listed or if it's been sitting at 1 Satoshi for a long time.
Unless it got listed like today or yesterday, I don't think it got listed there.
No, you're right. So this looks like actually is getting like a weird late in life pump because it was at 1 Satoshi for ages. Now it's sitting at 6 on bids. These guys, they're trying something.
Little pump.
Probably just a bag holder though.
The final one that was posted before the show was Litbar.
Litbar.
Which is being apparently relaunched, although neither of us can recall a Litbar before it. And it's also Bitbar's little brother. Bitbar almost sounds familiar.
Bitbar. Man, that is an old blockchain theme to have it. Usually these bar coins are referenced after like blocks of gold. There was like a gold bar coin. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Litbar.
Larabar I will always remember.
Larabar, yeah. It's really funny to me to use that as the convention for naming a digital currency because it's like the most opposite of digital you could get. Like imagine something that's just a heavy brick, but what if it was made of crypto? A magical brick of crypto.
Oh, man.
But whatever. I'm all for it. Launch a coin, guys. Let's see what you got.
It's awesome. More coins, please. Brandon and I have never had a problem with people launching coins.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who really get upset. It's like, oh, there's too many coins being launched. Anyone can launch a coin, so
yeah.
I would be sad. I'll be sad when there's not coins being launched every day, I guess, from my perspective, because I just love seeing all these ridiculous blockchains. And there's just so many of them. It's awesome.
One thing that we meant to mention this week, when we looked closer at the anime one, the mining was over, and that was actually a re-announcement, but it wasn't really presented that way very clearly.
Yeah,
just to give our own defense, but
we both looked at it. We're like, oh man, this is gonna be a great coin. We
eventually, I looked closer, and it had been mined. So just wanted to make that clear. Brando, you told me about the INFX pump on Trex.
Yeah, Influx. It's like about a 6-month-old coin. Just got listed on T-Rex and has just had this huge pump that just took off. It's pretty. If you haven't checked out the chart on it yet, I would strongly recommend it. I'm not gonna say it's a buy right now. Went from 1,000 to 50,000 in essentially just a matter of days, that's just one of those crazy pumps. Really good volume on Bittrex. Just come out of nowhere type situation. So. If you were somebody that's been holding Influx for a while, obviously,
congratulations.
Yeah, you nailed it. I was definitely nowhere near this thing when it pumped.
Yeah, it was also another silly pump week on Yobit. There's some sort of like
the pump gods.
There's weird money on Yobit right now.
Yeah, the Yobit volume. Yobit volume's higher than it's ever been. That HMP is the top one right now. That new hemp coin. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't see that before.
I saw EXT pump this week, Fcash, and
EXT, what's that?
And then the PSY, psilocybin coin.
Yeah, Psi. I actually had some Psi. That was another one I had a couple, in addition to BIOS, I had a bunch of Psi just clear randomly one day, which is always funny. I have a ton of like
dust.
Yeah, complete garbage Yobit coins that I've mined up over the years, so it just makes me laugh when they clear. So I was, really happy to see Psi pump. I think that one's already back down to nothing, but like... What's next, I guess?
At this point, I don't know. I've got one on there, the GTFO coin.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out coin.
Oh, man, if that one comes back.
Basically, I'm never going to sell those coins, so if you're the get the fuck out pumper and you're just waiting for those coins, you're never going to get them.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
They're not being sold.
Happen.
These old coins, they're funny.
It was also, speaking of, a little bit back, there was the Bitcoin fork, and so that reminded us of Cbit.
Yeah.
Cbit's mining was kind of funny this week, and it gonna throw in some of this. Hope it's not exactly FUD, but it might come off that way.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, Cbit has had some major mining issues this week. Somebody put a petahash on the chain at some point. mooned the difficulty up, and then it essentially stayed really high for a long time. Nobody was getting any coins. The chain was barely moving. And then once it got to the next difficulty readjustment, it way over-targeted down, and there was essentially a second Instamine. And if you watched the market on Cbit, on C-cex, it went from like 1,000 to 100 almost instantly. It was like,
Yeah.
whoever noticed that Instamine was going on obviously took advantage immediately. And the market appears to have, it could have been permanently damaged. I don't know. What do you think?
I say permanently is a little bit maybe not how I feel, but it's certainly going to take some time for people that will profit from buying these coins to profit. Like, there's a lot of coins to be sold, and so it remains to be seen whether the entities that have the coins are going to be, for lack of a better word, altruistic and actually like hold those coins, or if they're going to just be dumping them for pennies until they have none left.
Yeah, I guess I would say it's in kind of the doldrums right now. A lot of altcoins, they have that characteristic U-shaped curve of they first launch at a really high price and then they settle into a much lower price for a much longer time. And I think it's safe to say that the high price days of Cbit for the time being are over. If you're somebody that bought at 1,000, I'm sorry to see that it's at 50 Satoshi right now, but it's not. I wouldn't hold your breath on a climb.
Well, I'm not really a guy that oftentimes will buy coins to like lower my buy-in.
Yeah.
But when I see a coin that does go that much, if I was in that position, I might consider it on a coin like Cbit, because you don't have to spend a lot of money to bring your average buy like way fucking down once a coin crashes like that. So if you actually think it's gonna go up, and maybe you can get out for like a fucking third of what you originally bought at,
Yeah, and it's definitely at a low market cap right now. I think it's in the single digit Bitcoin range. So, not to say that it couldn't go lower, but it's probably as far as where it's going to settle, I don't think it'll be much lower.
Speaking of settling much lower, do you think Pepe is gonna go lower or not?
Man, I really kind of thought Pepe was going to be a Bittrex, that they were going to pay to get onto Bittrex, and that they were doing something with it. And now it kind of feels like it might be a C-cex only thing, a C-cex only play. And if that is the case, that initial spike it spiked at one point to 5,000. They kind of bought out the book, and then dropped again immediately, climbed back up to into the 3,000 range.
And then just a slow decline.
And it's been a slow decline from there. It doesn't feel like a good hold for me right now. I sold out. I tried to do a little bit of swing trading, made a couple trades, eventually got not caught out, but decided to sell out with a small loss just to call it a good coin. I ended up I did get a good return, about 2.5 times what I started with. So
yeah, nice.
Wasn't a huge bet, but I mean Pepe turned out to be great for me. So I will be surprised if it still has legs to it, but I definitely can't complain about the profits I made.
Nice. One of the main ways that I like interact with Bitcoin Talk is by just pressing that button that says to show all the new posts and posts that I've already, and threads that I've already posted in.
Yep.
So I noticed this week that there's been posts in this old thread from a coin called Occult.
Occult coin, I remember that one.
Which I think maybe came out around like a Halloween or something at some point. And I just thought that was funny. It doesn't really mean anything, but I thought since it was coming up on my feed, it would be fun to mention on the show because it's such a funny example of how you never really know what's going to happen in crypto. Like, is this coin... I didn't actually even look, like, is this coin even traded anywhere? Could you even get it if you wanted it? Why is anybody posting in this thread? Why is the developer now coming back after half a year, It's weird stuff.
Looks like it launched in October of 2014.
Wow.
So that is...
So it was like a Halloween coin.
Unless this is a different Occult coin.
No, it's got like a... Is it a blue
blue
white?
sphere, yeah. October of 2014. Yeah, that's incredible. So somebody made this blockchain years and years ago, and here they are floating around. Probably not.
I don't think it's traded anywhere. It's a weird one. But I just thought it'd be fun to mention.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's cool just to see news soon from the Occult coin dev.
Yeah. Okay. Like, what are you gonna do that's going to bring...
Yeah, that's funny.
What could this guy do? Like, is he gonna do a magic trick?
Yeah. Yeah, news coming soon. Occult coin dev has figured out a new David Copperfield card trick or something.
Oh, that was like speaking of magic. Also, just coming into my head, one of the best names ever on Bitcoin Talk was Industrial Coin Magic. The
Oh
guy
my
that
gosh,
launched
yeah, the Crave developer.
Yeah, whatever that was weird as fuck.
Oh man, it was incredible is what it was. It's funny because for like so long, the only name a coin developer would ever have is the name of the coin.
Yeah.
So if the coin was, Leafcoin, the developer's Bitcoin Talk account would be Leafcoin. And I think Industrial Coin Magic like broke that trend with this hilarious name. And that kind of started the trend of like hero member, full member Bitcoin Talk announcements. I don't know if you noticed that, but now you see a lot more coins where it's either actually an old Bitcoin Talk account or they purchase an old Bitcoin Talk account to make the post instead of just having the newbie, name of the coin developer.
Yeah.
One coin, I'm looking at Dubaicoin again this week.
Oh.
I kind of, after XCT had that incident with their mining, I needed to find something new to mine. So I went back to Dubaicoin because it's just had a really solid chart on Yobit. That's mostly what I'm interested in. The developer is still active, and in terms of the thread, they are mostly talking about like kind of the merchant-oriented approach of they're going to have a big Dubaicoin store, which I'm not usually, I won't say I'm a huge fan of the merchant coin approach, but based on the developer activity and the market activity, I'm pretty happy with where Dubaicoin is right now. So I'm gonna stick with mining it for a while and see where it goes.
Nice, man. What algo is that?
SHA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I do actually have your A6 on it then?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet. Man, I wish I had bought those at the right time.
Yeah, I know, those A6. I bought some S5s when Bitcoin was like 220 or something. They turned out to be a huge, a really well-timed investment for me. They paid themselves off like so fast mining altcoins.
Bitbeans.
Yeah, I insta-mined Bitbeans with those, and I insta-mined XCO. That was my best one. I made like a Bitcoin and a half on the XCO insta-mine just with 2 S5 amp miners. It was awesome.
What about Neos?
Yeah, I did. I bought a little Neos this week, actually. It apparently the dev is still MIA to some extent. He's around. I guess he's on IRC. He exists.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I hang out in that channel, and there is a user named C-cex in that channel.
And I bought Neos Coin IPO ages ago. It was one of the only IPOs I've ever actually bought, but I had kind of known C-cex before. It was like, all right, whatever, I'll buy some of this coin. And I got a positive return on the IPO, so I can't complain about that. I did make the mistake of kind of buying back in to Neos at a bad time. I was like, when mining really started to kind of change in the summer of last year, my kind of old mining routine that I had always gotten by on started to not be effective. So I was like, all right, I'll get back into trading altcoins. And Neos is one of the coins I tried to trade, and I did not trade it well. So that's always disappointing. But now I'm seeing it could have bottomed out. It might not. Like I said, the dev is still MIA, but I did buy some on Poloniex, and we'll see. I always like those coins that are just... It's still on Poloniex. It's still on Bittrex. It could go somewhere.
Yeah, I've had a little trading experience with Neos, and I bought some, I bought it as it was going down or whatever, and I ended up selling for a small profit. And I'd still hang out in that channel. It was hard to tell if there was anything going on.
Yeah, it's just like, I like those channels where it's like, oh, there's just a channel here, there's people sitting here, nothing ever gets said. It still says something that channel is there to me, but...
Tell me about what you were looking at on Gatecoin.
Yeah, that rep. I was talking about rep a little bit last week. I really like Augur. I think it's probably one of the sweetest blockchain ideas that has come out so far. But I think that it's overvalued in the sense that it's like starting to exceed the value of the Ethereum.
Right, yeah, you mentioned that made sense to me.
It seems like it's starting to. I might have my math wrong on that. Just the price is crazy. And so I was kind of expecting it to come back down, and it seems like that's happening on Gatecoin now. It's down. I say that with air quotes. It's down to 0.025, which is still a really awesome price, but I think we'll see it mostly pegged to ETH price essentially going forward.
That would make sense. Sure will be interesting. It'll be nice to trade it on a more common method.
Yep. I think a big story for a lot of traders this week has got to be the decline of Warpcoin. It had a great pump. It was a Yobit, it was on Yobit, just probably one of the strongest Yobit markets I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, but what was even funnier about the beginning of that was the non-escrowed ICO.
Yep, the non-escrowed ICO, really low price, huge market on Yobit, and then it was all just a lead up to Bittrex because it got to Bittrex, pumped higher than it had ever been, and
Got
then
to 60K or so.
Yeah, and then just down.
Yeah, I was in that ICO, and so
Yeah.
I was like kind of sad to see how this all played out, but in the end, I always trade the market and not the developer, so
Yeah,
like it didn't
definitely.
actually affect me financially, but I was like, this guy basically was very friendly and encouraging to the community, and then all of a sudden he closed the Slack channel. And then, of course, there was fallout from that within Bitcoin talk, and some people knew what had happened and some people didn't, and blah, blah, blah. And then at this point, it's like he locked the Bitcoin talk thread. And,
Yeah, so now now what, right? They know.
Yeah, I just don't get that shit.
It appears to have just been a not a short con, but a little bit longer than short con. Like,
I feel like the name might have been indicative of
what was going to
was
happen?
gonna happen there.
The price is going to warp down to zero.
And the man's name was Shape Twist, in that he would change shape himself.
Yeah, he was going to twist it up on all the people who
he
participated.
it was like his personality changed overnight.
Yeah, he was like, all right, I'm tired of.
And from his
he made his money or whatever. That's
from the
cool.
nature of like journalism or whatever, I'll mention that he feels as though he doesn't have an obligation to update people every day on what he's working on, and that
I mean, he doesn't.
He's going to continue development of the coin. He's said things like that from the beginning, so maybe that is the case. He claims that he was being exploited by people that held large portions of the coin. It's just that it becomes hard to believe somebody's words once there's even like the beginnings of lies or like deceit starting to occur.
And that's a really old story. That's actually what happened with IOCoin. And WizFarm had said that same thing when it first got launched. He had kind of gotten tricked by the big holders of the coins into trying to make it something that it wasn't. And he ended up sticking with the coin. And as we know, IOCoin is now more successful than it's ever been.
And what is it, 2 years later?
Yeah, a couple of years later. So his story, I'm not saying it's not true, but what it does mean from a trading perspective is that going back to that U-shaped kind of curve that pretty much all alts take, warp is going into its doldrums. It's going to be, it
might be a bit.
Yeah, it's not, if you're somebody who bought at 50,000, don't expect to see that again for months or years. And the dev has to stick through that. And if he doesn't, then it's done.
And if he does, it might actually be able to be a viable coin. I mean,
it could be huge.
The things that he had planned were really cool.
Yeah, did he ever come close to delivering on anything? People were talking about the VPNs as though they were up.
I didn't personally test it, so I'd hate to say that it works and be wrong, but people have told me that it works.
Okay, so I mean that's a hugely strong sign for him. So I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't be holding. I'm not holding warp, obviously, and if I was holding warp, I wouldn't be in a very comfortable position right now, because I usually, once a coin gets into the doldrums, I want to get back into it as late as possible, not just ride it out the whole time.
I know.
So for me, if I was holding warp, I would probably be looking at getting out on anything resembling a spike and just try to rebuy it a later time. You can get burned on that kind of a trade too, but...
Oh yeah, and it has some really strong support between 8 and 10K. I noticed it got dumped significantly lower than that on both exchanges. Or maybe more. I'm talking about Yobit and Bittrex, but it's also on a couple others. But immediately after that, of course, it sprung back up, and it's been kind of stuck around that 8K. I don't personally trust that type of support a lot of the time, because I know that somebody that has a huge market share can sell their coins incredibly slowly for a massive profit.
Yep.
But I also can't help but notice when a price stays the same or pounces back up. So, whatever.
I mean, for me, it's the question of, is that 8,000 price, is that a lot for what the coin is? That's an 80 Bitcoin market cap on Warp, which...
It also indicates almost 4 times as much interest as was at the beginning of the coin.
Yeah, exactly, from the IPO. So I kind of look at coins. I kind of hierarchy them from like 1 to 10 bitcoins is essentially not a dead chain, but that's a really a low profile blockchain. There can be really, those are kind of the coins that I like to play in, are these really low market cap coins, 1 to 10 bitcoins. But the kind of the 10 to 100 range is where you start to see the mid-level serious coins that usually have serious development, real features, that kind of stuff. Above 100 bitcoins is where you start to get into the actual big-time pump coins. So for Warp to be chilling at 80 bitcoins right now, that seems pretty appropriate. I could see it holding that price, but I could see it dropping as low as 1,000 too in the long term.
Yeah.
Just as it really gets into.
For me, it's really hard to play.
Deep into that valley where
I'm not
it could
even
be there
trying to like play it. I would say I have 10% of my ICO coins still, and I'll probably hold them unless it goes up to I probably will never sell them.
Yeah, and in terms of trying to actually do swing trading or something on any given coin, your chances are that the initial super high volume, typically high price phase when the coin launches, and then if you want to trade it again, you pretty much have to wait for the pump, and sometimes that never comes. So that could be months out now. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking to Warp for something to actively trade right now.
Last week you mentioned MOIN coin a little bit, and I was almost a little bit embarrassed because like I like this coin enough that I created the MOIN movement .org where
website, yeah.
I just think that there are interesting things about blockchains that haven't been fully explored yet in the sense of community. I don't think that it has to be some like retarded fake community like Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Regardless of any of that, what I really wanted to mention this week regarding MOIN and MOIN movement was that we're going to have a hard drive raffle. And so basically I'll post about this through several different channels, but if you hear about it here, basically for a 25 MOIN coin, the new chain of MOIN coin, not the ones on Yobit. These are the ones on C-cex.
Yeah, you don't want to. Well, I guess it'd probably be pretty tough to buy them on Yobit at this point, but there's been a swap on MOIN coin, so he's talking about the C-cex chain.
Basically, a ticket will cost 25 MOIN coin, and 5 tickets will cost 100 MOIN coin.
Okay.
And each ticket will get you an entry into winning a hard drive, a Samsung 250 gigabyte solid state drive.
Yeah, this is kind of going back to having blockchains that are backed by real things. This isn't necessarily saying that it's like this is just a cool way to kind of potentially add value to a blockchain, and just it's a community thing. He just wants to kind of give away these hard drives, and they're real. I can assure you that these hard drives are real. They're in front of me. I can see the hard drives.
Yeah, thanks, Rando.
It's a real contest.
What I always think is so funny about sometimes the mentality inside of crypto trading or whatever is going on here is that people are so focused on making money that they will never spend any money.
Yep. Yeah, seriously.
And so I'm not necessarily saying that's even like a bad thing, or maybe that's probably the more profitable way to go. But I have to honestly, I spend my money in stupid ways all the time. And so like buying a couple hard drives to give to people who might want to either join the MOIN community or are already part of it and just want to try to get some. That's fun for me. So nice. I enjoy it. It's like a hobby.
Where would somebody go to enter?
You're going to want to go to moinmovement.org, and honestly, there's no way to enter yet. So this might be a little premature.
It's just an upcoming announcement. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the hard drives are here. That's definitely real.
Yeah, I got the hard drives in the mail, so that's pretty good. But basically, I'll let you know. Thanks.
Nice. And I mean, I think the idea here, speaking for Jukely, is that he's not like trying to make money on this or anything.
Oh no, it actually all goes into this MOIN movement fund.
Okay, so it goes. So
there's it's this wallet that I've been holding, and I sell stickers for MOIN as well that I made.
Okay.
And so as money comes into the fund, it is in there, and that just basically requires trust of me, which nobody's required to have. I totally understand. But I actually do trust myself, and I'm not going to spend that MOIN. It's going to be used either never or for something for the MOIN community, which in the future could be anything. I have no fucking idea at this point. Even if it was just to give it away in some particular way. But anyway, that's what it is.
Well, it's an awesome idea. Boom. MOIN coin, hard drive, raffle. Get in, get them while they're hot. Again, this could be the cheapest hard drive you ever get.
That's for sure, dude. Literally, let me. You go ahead and keep talking. I'll look up what 25 MOIN coin is actually worth.
25 MOIN coin. It can't be much. Let's see. This will be funny. It's MOIN coin. It's had some good activity on the C-cex market. It was a community vote coin, and a lot of those community vote coins go straight to zero once they hit the market. And MOIN has actually gone up quite a bit since it first started trading on there. It's hard to say if it's got legs or not. We'll see. But I like what I've been seeing so far from the MOIN community.
Yeah, so 25 MOIN right now, even if you were just buy into the cells, that's going to cost you about 8 cents. So for 8 cents, you have a chance to buy this hard drive.
Yeah, and it probably will be a pretty good chance. There's probably not going to be that many entrants. So
we'll see. There's 0 so far.
Yep, so that'll be fun. Alrighty, so that's it's kind of our coin news this week. Our next segment that we're going to talk about is the coin listings. Always fun to see what the exchanges are listing. Let's lead off with C-cex. Everyone kind of has a different way of pronouncing C-cex. Don't you think?
I do both. I do C-cex, C-cex.
Yeah, I started out as C-cex, and then I heard someone say C-cex at one point, and it just kind of, that's how it looks on the page to me.
Yeah. Well, the only one they listed this week was Digibyte, probably because it's going to get pumped to the moon.
Yeah, because there's a freaking insane Digibyte pump going on. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I remember when of course, I sold my Digibyte like 3 weeks ago at 60 Satoshi or whatever, but this feels like the real deal. The last Digibyte pump was pretty impressive, but it kind of, it faded out pretty quickly. This one feels crazy, man. Just the biggest, huge volume, huge climb. It just seems like it's never going to stop.
Yeah, for me, I've been doing some swing trading within Digibyte, but since I guess it's my my familiarity with the culture and the market of Digibyte, it's really hard for me to tell like what the ceiling actually is or where we're at. So I've kind of just been being super cautious, and I've been kind of cashing out over and over.
Nice. I mean, we're back into the range of what Digibyte was in 2014 when it was just like everything was going crazy. So it's really awesome to see what's going on with Digibyte right now. And obviously C-cex listing, not a surprise.
Safecex listed Syscoin, which is kind of a similar story, I would say.
Yeah, I would say it's a very similar story. Just not a surprise, just a coin that's been rocking lately.
Mm-hmm. And I was doing similar stuff to that. I haven't actually traded it this week, though. I was kind of unsure if it would get back down to that 1,500 Satoshi range or if it was actually going to hold above 2,000. And, man, I'm fucking still not ready. I might I might just start to slowly buy around like in between those numbers somewhere.
Nice. That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. Bittrex didn't list anything, I don't think.
And, no, classic story for Bittrex. Nothing new on Poloniex.
Nothing new on Cryptopia. But then we got our good friend Yobit.
Yeah, and then there's Yobit with more listings than you could possibly hope to keep track of. So Ubercoin, is that based? Oh, that was one that I thought.
It was really recent.
I thought it should be based on the cab service, but it's not. It's just
correct.
Ubercoin, right?
Yeah, it's just good, really good.
Just another coin. I don't see it anywhere in the volume listings. I don't know if it's doing well or not, but they added it.
Postcoin also got listed.
Postcoin was interesting. They had a forum that it was associated with.
The altcoinboard.com.
The altcoinboard.com, and you would get Postcoin as like a kudos type thing on the board.
Yeah, you have basically the way that it works is you get these points for posting, and I'm not sure what the rate is on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the forum has a mechanism where you can trade your points for post coins. And there's sort of a logarithmic curve to how much post coin you get based on how many things you have. So if you save up your posts for a long time, you get more post coin compared to just like cashing out at 1,000 points or whatever.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Anyways, it's actually been having a pretty good market. So that's surprising to me because I'm not sure if I'm surprised or just amazed. What is
There was a Bitcoin Topper airdrop for this, right? You got in on the airdrop?
Yep. Yeah, they basically were giving away coins based on your post count
Yeah.
on Bitcoin Talk.
What was your airdrop worth?
Got like 8,000 post coins.
What's the price on the coin?
It's about 100 now. It was like in the 40s when I received the airdrop.
So 800,000 Satoshi for the airdrop. That's the value.
There's not that the support isn't that strong at the moment. It was earlier the week,
Yeah.
but yeah, that could have been a reality.
That's pretty good. I mean, really, for a new for like a minor airdrop coin, that's not. That's
For me on a coin like this, my strategy is a little bit different. I basically, if they're gonna give me 8,000 coins, like so it was at 45 when I got those. My strategy is I'm gonna throw up a little buy for the same amount of coins that they gave me. I'm gonna try to buy 8,000 coins at whatever the fuck people are buying them at.
Yeah.
And
then you can't lose unless it drops more than 50%.
Right. So I'm just gonna sell them immediately if it starts to go down, and if not, I'm gonna hold them. And in this case, I bought them and it's kept going up. So at this point, I'm just holding all of those.
That's actually a really cool idea because what you're essentially doing is leveraging the free coins to expand your position without taking on much risk. So I really like that approach. That's cool.
Yeah.
Next up, Octocoin was listed. Man, this is a really old coin.
So old, man.
I can't believe that it's still trading. I can't believe that. I mean, I've always been kind of surprised by Octocoin, and I'm still being surprised by it. Here it is on Yobit.
Man. Then that Ini coin, which was the anime, or the
hentai, was that the hentai coin?
The hentai porn coin or whatever the fuck, man.
Oh man, it's on Yobit. I wonder if anyone spotted any of that. That is funny. A lot of these things get to Yobit and they never get any volume. So it looks like Ini coin is in that camp. 0.1 daily volume.
Yeah, I'm not sure what would inspire somebody to buy that coin.
Oh, I mean, there must be.
The market would, I guess, if it was doing something. Songcoin was the next one that got listed there.
Songcoin, that's another new launch.
And it's no, it's not new, man.
Songcoin?
Well, no.
How new?
It's been getting traded on C-cex for quite a while, I think. Yeah. But it's also been gaining in value, and people post about it in their troll boxes all the time. Oh. So now it's on Yobit. I don't really know. It's one of those ones where I just need more information if I was ever going to trade it. It
seems like Yobit's really trying to catch up on some of these older coins. They're just trying to round out their library with like...
It makes sense. I mean, if they're going to post everything, I mean, they have at some point they need to wise up and delist some shit.
Yeah, how can they just have everything on their exchange? Apparently, that seems to be their strategy.
It seems risky to me because
it seems crazy
when you look at all of... I mean, maybe they aren't able to be held accountable for reasons that I am not, like, totally understanding. Because in America, like, you're held accountable for shit you don't even fucking understand. But it might be that they just actually are untouchable.
Yobit?
Yeah.
I mean, what do they lose by this, aside from the CPU time for mining the wallets?
There's situations that have arose on all sorts of exchanges, like actual blockchain manipulations. People can be heavily
people can mess with blockchains. Yeah, it seems like Yobit just doesn't care.
That's kind of my impression too.
It seems like Yobit, if the coins got there on the blockchain, then they're gonna have them be validated on their exchange, and that's just how it is. And then that's gonna be what their exchange. That's gonna be the reality on their exchange, regardless of what else happens with the coin. Like a coin could come out, there could be a blockchain exploit. Someone can generate millions of coins. Yobit's probably not going to delist that coin. It's just going to keep trading.
I feel the same way.
So it's
that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it's a true Wild West exchange in that sense, and that anything can happen on Yobit.
AIB coin was also listed there.
Do you know anything about this? I don't know anything about AIB. No.
Yacoin.
Yacoin. That's another one of these real old coins. That's like an old coin. I think Yacoin was around before we got into the game.
Wow. So there's trying to get a little volume there.
Yep, just rounding out their collection.
EL coin, which is I think fairly old as well.
EL coin listed on Yobit. It's got any volume.
Loot coin, which isn't too old because it was at least on one of these podcasts.
Yep, we talked about Loot coin. I had confused it with a gaming coin. It's apparently not. It's something else, but it seems like none of these listings are going anywhere. I'm just seeing 0.1 volume on all of them.
The other one is CZE coin.
That's a newer one, isn't it?
Yeah. I honestly didn't recognize it. Sometimes the listings I don't recognize, and then Expanse, which
obviously is the big Ethereum clone. That's probably got the most volume.
why do some exchanges not list the biggest coins?
They feel like they're not going to get volume. A lot of exchanges they're in this frustrating position where like they're the only exchange trading a coin, and then Bittrex or Poloniex adds it, and all the volume goes to Bittrex. So their thinking is, if this coin is already on Bittrex, I'm not going to get any volume trading it. But
maybe they're learning a little that might not be the case.
And I think what they're finding is a lot of people, especially people who are really big fans of a specific coin, will still do trading, but they'll denominate their trades in the different coin. So instead of Bitcoin, so if somebody's really into Dogecoin, they might do a lot of trading, and then what they're going to do is cash out any money they make into Dogecoin before they pull it off the exchange. And so I think you'll see that exchanges are adding these big coins because there's probably people who really like Expanse. And so when they're sitting there trading on Yobit, they don't want to cash out in Bitcoin. They want to cash out in Expanse. And if they have that market available and it has enough liquidity, then that's what people are going to do. And it generates volume for them. And it's really about having the architecture to run a market.
That's true. Some of the more modern ones seem to have different requirements than maybe just running a QT or something like that.
But I mean, from the exchange side, I mean, if you have the architecture to run these wallets at a really low overhead, then you might as well just run them all.
We were gonna, of course, do our birthdays because all these birthday coins have been super fucking interesting so far. I'm serious, man.
Yeah, I love the birthdays. It's so cool to see what coins make it. You would never ever guess at the time of launch what coins are going to be around in 2 years.
And this one actually surprised me because we mentioned it once more.
Yep.
It's Anarchist Prime.
Anarchist
Happy birthday!
Prime. Happy 1 year
You
birthday,
son of a
Anarchist
gun.
Prime. One of those coins. The theme doesn't really appeal to me in the sense of I'm not really super sympathetic to the cause of the anarchists. So it's not like I see this coin and I'm like, yeah, anarchy. But I think it's awesome that they're still around. Obviously, they're doing a lot of stuff right.
Well, you know what it makes me think?
What?
That nukes might be around a year from now.
Yeah, Nuke Coins was a coin that we talked about. Did get launched by the Anarchist Prime developer. Kind of it went straight into a low market cap area, but it was one that was one that I mined with the ant miners and was able to get a really good return on.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if the coins are mined for an incredibly low price,
yeah,
the market's going to go incredibly low.
Yeah, no question.
People aren't going to just waste their money.
Yeah, absolutely. And miners always cash out. Miners love to cash out.
Yeah, so it takes time. It's that U-shape you talked about.
Yeah, exactly. So the coin goes down, it settles in, and then does it bounce or doesn't it bounce? Anarchist Prime, it's really held out. It's a C-cex traded coin right now, I believe. Is it on Bittrex?
No.
So there's Anarchist Prime. C-cex is a pretty aggressive delister. They're not as aggressive as Bittrex, but for a coin to stay on there for a long time is a really solid sign for the market.
And there are no 2-year anniversaries that I could find.
So it must have been which is surprising because 2 years ago it was like the markets were going crazy, but I think maybe 2 years, we're starting to see, because you remember like a few weeks
there were
ago,
coins launched, but none of them were alive
None
anymore.
of them survived, yeah. I mean, a few weeks ago, like some of the biggest coins ever were launched.
Yeah.
Like Blackcoin and that kind of stuff. So I remember back then in 2014, there was kind of a lull after Blackcoin and all those other coins went crazy where everything kind of settled down for a little bit. And so that's probably why we're seeing no birthdays. It was a little bit of a lull in the market then. So yeah, and I'm looking at the Anarchist Prime market. It looks pretty solid.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it went up recently. That's always the thing that I've actually made a little money in that market, but I don't have a position currently, and I wish I did, obviously, because I think it can go up, but I'm not sure.
I think this would be a good time to try and open up a position at bid, but it can be tough.
Yeah. Well, man, another week.
Another week. That's it. That's the new coins, the latest pumps, the biggest dumps. It's impossible to say what's going to happen week to week, and it's just really fun to talk about it and just to see what's happened.
Yeah, thanks to anybody that listens, and if any of you would like to be involved with the show, definitely get a hold of us. We're always open to hearing news that's happening, experiences. If you want to be on the show, we're happy to do that. So we're going to keep doing it no matter what.
Yep, here it is, Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 5. We're wrapping it up. We'll be back for you guys next week, same time, same channel.
Peace.
Peace out.
Nah, I can even hear what you say. I ain't finna do shit. Bitch, you can miss me with it. Bitch, nigga, miss me with it. Turn it.
I pack in 11, I pack in 11.
Boom.
I ran in the gator, my shoes are just 7.